So that's Death Stranding.
That is Death Stranding. It looks a lot like Metal Gear Solid 5 with ghosts.
Surprisingly,
I'm
it was shockingly Metal Gear.
yeah, you look at it and I felt so dumb looking at it going,
Of
"Oh,
course.
yeah, you're sneaking around."
Of course.
Oh,
You're creating pathways across America. You're putting shit on your backpack and you're dropping ladders, but ultimately you're walking through Afghanistan and
Americanistan.
You're sneaking and you're going to run into caravans of open world triggers doing their thing.
Yeah.
And then occasionally there will be areas where floating ghosts
Fucking ghosts and shit
hang out, but for the most part you're just going to be open worlding.
Yeah.
And Norman Reedus and his funky fetus are actually just Solid Snake.
The PlayStation Store page lists like asynchronous multiplayer, and it actually describes what that asynchronous multiplayer is. And it's going to be, hey, you'll find little camps that people have made that they've left supplies at, and kind of like a everyone come together kind of thing.
I guess.
And the other thing is that I really feel like the trailer ends like just reconnecting isn't going to get rid of the BTs.
Yeah.
And then you can go anywhere. I have a feeling this game is going to try and expand on what Metal Gear Solid 5 was supposed to have, which was the anti-nuke stuff. Remember, everyone comes together.
Okay.
Like, beating the game isn't going to just solve the problem.
Oh, you think this is going to be him working on a proper multiplayer suite?
I don't think so, but I think it'll all be asynchronous. I don't think you're ever going to see other people. But I think it's gonna be Kojima's Nobi Boy.
Okay.
If that makes any sense to you.
Sandboxing it a little bit.
Right.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because the trailer ends with, "Don't worry, you'll be able to go anywhere, even the moon," which seems like a really specific line to end the trailer on.
I mean, on Twitter, he pointed out that you can climb that mountain.
Yeah.
We were going back to that.
Yeah.
That whatchamacallit, game design fucking school, but
I have a feeling that the world map is actually totally as big as it appears, and that those strands are other player camps. Like, that way off in the distance you see strands?
Yeah.
And that's keeping connected, man. Because we all gotta come together, bro.
I think this trailer definitely satisfied a lot of what I wanted to see.
There's video game in it.
Please show me the video game, right?
There's going to be a lot of traversal elements. There's going to be stealth elements. You can shoot a gun.
And Hideo, he started like chronicling his timeline of KGP on Twitter, basically making his list of like ever since 2016. Here's what I've been up to. And yeah, I think finally seeing this trailer goes, okay, thank you for showing me the video game trailer. Now I have a very understandable approach towards what this is going to be.
A foxhound stand-in. We have a mysterious, possibly villainous figure.
Yeah.
You got all sorts of shit.
Now, I also feel that with what we're seeing, like, first of all, I saw a lot of cool shit.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot of cool shit.
There's a lot of rad-ass ghost shit in that trailer.
And firing the gun was very, very brief, but clearly a part of what was happening.
I feel like that's there to be like, because you see it for like 3 seconds,
Yep.
and it's like, listen.
Just to let you know.
Sometimes you can shoot a gun.
But we need you to run from these scientists and their sticks and hijack their bikes and wheelie out of there.
So the
punch them around a little bit,
the
Assassin's
PlayStation
Creed
Store
style.
page has an interesting caveat, not caveat, it has an interesting point on it, where it says, deal with your foes wisely, blah, blah, blah. Killing people is almost never the answer.
Interesting.
So he's probably undertailing it or some shit.
I mean, if the world is fucked...
Well, I think it's fairly clear what happened to the planet. The dead are everywhere.
Yeah.
Ghosts don't leave.
Right.
So I imagine shooting people to death would cause bad things.
Well, it's probably why the technology is not traditional.
Yeah.
But also, not only are they hanging around and the other side is crossing over with our side, but if they happen to run across you, then they pull you over.
Yeah.
Right? So, and babies, unborn, are the only pure...
Those babies are different.
Those are the only pure things.
I went back and looked at it. So they hook into the baby, and it says they're connecting to the other side, and the baby's eyes are pure dark. They're pure black. In the part where he's sneaking through the forest, Norman's footprints are in blue to denote like friendly, and then the monster giant handprints are in orange. But during that sequence, the baby is glowing the exact same bright orange.
So it's not just a baby.
So it's it's a fucking thing.
I
It's
mean,
a weird fucking thing.
Mads Mikkelsen is literally coddling it. It's at a point indicating that he's got some sort of feelings about it. But I think it would be cool if it was based on the idea that like an unborn pure baby is your closest connection to purgatory you're not allowed, you haven't made decisions yet. You're not therefore inherently sinful, even though certain religion will tell you otherwise.
Don't worry about
but
that.
The idea being that like, okay, the place where babies would go because they never get a chance to have life, they're not judged evil or good, allows you to therefore maybe connect to this afterlife or something along those lines. I don't know, but what I will say,
the world seems like disastrously ruined.
Way
Worse than usual apocalypses.
No,
like the rainfall killing all wildlife in this radius is just like that's.
America is fucked, and the president is on her cancer bed and basically going, America matters, and Norman's like, does it though? It's the Thor face, like, is he though? Does it though? Connect those bridges. Okay,
and now the bridges logo makes sense because they're expanding out from Washington.
Why does it matter? Well, anyway,
you know what? Fuck that. We got Dead Man, we got Heart Man, and we got Die Hard Man.
We got Baker Man, and we got, I forgot the other characters.
Fragile Woman.
Yeah, all these mans. Now, one thing I definitely like, I feel it hard now. The more of this game we see, I feel it hard. It's the thing I was talking about last time, where this is clearly going to be a not Peace Walker. I keep saying that, but I mean to say Phantom Pain style game. And the thing I like the most about what I've seen of Death Stranding has been those narrative trailers. Quote unquote narrative trailers, right? Mads and his soldiers doing weird shit.
Just being weird.
Right? Guillermo running around, and a soldier who gets taken in by the unknown and
explodes into time
and decides that killing himself is a better solution than dealing with whatever is about to happen to him. That's the kind of like brain candy that makes you go, oh my god, I want to know more about this world, right? To get that type of the content delivered to you, it should probably be in a hallway. Everything about this footage is the least hallway ever.
Okay, so there is a solution to that. And the solution is that the hallway can be really, really, really wide.
Really wide hallway. And what if you don't get to point B, though?
I imagine the way that this is going to work is it's going to be get to point A, now get to point B. Like, basically, perhaps, like, go west.
Perhaps the hallway will, in fact, just be, whenever you're ready, go to the next room in the hallway. Or don't, but...
Alternatively, if you don't go to the next room in the hallway, you will not be physically able to progress. Like, you won't have cold weather gear.
And that's basically... I mean, there's some of those shots in the video have, like, cartoonish levels of weight on Norman's back. Like, he has a body and, like, 8 fucking tons of just suitcases.
It's pretty ridiculous.
And you're like, why are we like, what am I thinking of? Have you ever seen the parody video of the ultimate backpack for runners?
I have not.
And it's like a backpack that is like giraffe neck height sticking off of this guy's back, and he's going jogging with it, and it's bouncing around the place, and it's super goofy. It feels like it's one of those things, like how you actually carrying around that much shit. And more importantly, when you get punched and one of them falls off, how important it is that you pick it back up.
It's very important.
Well,
the weirdest thing about when those goons attacks Norman Reedus is that they attack the backpack.
Yeah.
And they're all, and the reason why I think that you're not supposed to kill people while this bad thing happens, none of them are carrying lethal weaponry at all. They're all carrying stun batons.
Also, the backpack creates the sonar point.
Yeah, it creates the pulse. They're looking for the backpack.
They don't care about you. They care about the backpack. Yeah. So, I guess I just the more of this I see, the more I want to make sure that we get this. I want more of that narrative.
Yeah.
You know, please don't
Metal Gear Solid 5 me, man.
Please don't make it so that we get sprinkled cutscenes in between massive open world. Figure out how you want to get there.
Now, I would be baffled that if they did not use a similar storytelling presentation for at least some of it as the tapes.
Yeah.
Because, like, even the spot where he hides in the tall grass from the dudes.
Yeah.
That's a big, wide space that you can see for long distances. Just walking in pure silence might be a little dull.
Man, I really like the fact that almost all technology is unrecognizable.
It's all weird,
with the exception of metal briefcases wrapped with caution tape.
Yeah,
everything else is completely foreign and like way hard future, but not so hard that it looks like you don't know how we got there. I really, really like the tech design so far.
You know what actually made me really excited about this game in terms of like its structure, and because my big fear isn't even that we're not going to get enough cutscenes. My big fear is that like some of this technological shenanigans is just going to be like, yeah, it works. Like, no, I want someone to explain to me the bullshit that led to this nonsense baby-powered future.
Sure.
Right?
And it might not be a satisfying explanation.
And the number one thing that made me excited is seeing Norman and Deadman and fucking Die Hard Man and Mama chilling in a big techno base that he parks his motorcycle in.
Oh, you mean the plot base?
Yeah, the plot base.
Right.
Right? And it's like...
read that computer.
Yeah. The baby base.
Yeah.
So to speak. Because it's like, okay, thank God, there's going to be...
some
area that I can go
where
to look at
information is concentrated. Yes, I that is true.
Possibly you'll come back and then go to different spots.
Yeah.
Maybe step 1 is go to Chicago. Step 2 is go to Austin, Texas.
But
whatever.
I just maybe it's just me. But like I feel like I've had my fill for a while of go let the legend come back to life. Like I really am okay with like the open world is not impressive anymore to me. We've done it. We've gotten island-sized Just Cause lands. You can make a Google Earth at this point. We get it.
I think
I don't think that's impressive anymore.
Genuinely impressive open world was Breath of the Wild.
Because it was they thought about it. They tailored it.
And it wasn't because it was super big.
Yeah.
It was because you had to deal with it. You had to interact with the world part.
And it was well placed and well thought out. The other thing I want to say is that when it comes to like controlling the environment to make sure that you can still have a lot of fun routes in to a place or out of a place, and it's not so wide that you can have you can possibly have like 5 great experiences and like 12 shitty ones, is to make something ground zero sized.
Yeah. Right?
The ground zero's base represents, while it was massive when we first took a look at it, now that represents a small to mid-sized area.
Yeah.
Right? That you could actually go, all right, this is one level, this is one area, this is a controlled spot, and you can make the pathways, whether they choose to go left, right, straight, you can make the pathways clear and make them as engaging as you would a hallway, but it doesn't have to be infinite desert left and infinite desert going right either. So I hope we kind of get at least control.
It's interesting because like
areas
the way
that
we
size.
Look at this is because like I am super thirsty for a fucking big ass space to wander. Like I very much enjoy literally just wandering about.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't even want that. I want to know more about invisible Titan gods floating around in the distance.
But
I want those five imposing figures in the distance. What are you about?
Just because they were opposed in 5 doesn't mean that that was a like design compromise. that always felt like I don't know. I don't know what happened with 5 story. There's just so little of it.
It's just, if you think about what Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 were, 3 to a degree, but...
Because I'm worried about 4. I'm worried about, like, an actual hallway.
Because yes, right? 4 is an actual hallway, right? And I suppose that does represent going too far the other direction with it, which, let me dial it back then, because that is a fair point. 1 and 2... you came out into your smaller base, your Ground Zeroes base.
Yeah.
And then when you get to Chico, you then enter Ground Zeroes base 2. Mm-hmm. Right? And then you kind of move into next large interior or exterior. And you infiltrate and you tactical and you espionage and you action your way to the boss. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like what the other thing too is like, what is going to be Sam's suite of actions?
Oh, like crawl, hang from ledge,
roll, punch, shoot,
dig through the dirt,
knock on wood, throw item,
throw rock,
ladder, rope.
Did you notice that he ties his hair back like V in the trailer?
He does.
Isn't that like?
Yeah, he's got a little ponytail going. It's true. It's true.
Is he secretly? No.
I saw that tweet. I saw that tweet and it made me very upset.
What's that?
That tweet where the guy was like, Death Stranding is Metal Gear. And it's like, can we just stop?
No, we can't, because Kojima built up this legacy of big, weird Illuminati-level lies. And also, the pregnant lady with the blurred face is totally the lady from PT.
Sure.
Like, actually.
Yeah, he probably wanted to continue working with the people he wanted to work with.
So we're going to get to the point where it's going to be like PT
Konami
happened.
fucked him, and then he decided to continue working with the people he liked. What's so wild about that? Find out, grab any one of these Metal Gear like conspiracy people and ask them how they feel about the dome.
The dome?
How high the dome is.
The dome?
Over this flat Earth.
Well,
ask them.
You don't know the Death Stranding doesn't have a dome.
It's not what I'm saying.
No, it's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, this level of conspiracy where the poor guy is like publicly ousted from his company, and like there is a very, very embarrassing almost like fallout with how things go down, and then the idea that it's like, nah, that was all for show.
No.
They fixed it in the background, and now he's back working for Konami.
No, that's not what anyone thinks, Woolie. That's not the path anyone is on.
So what is hashtag Metal Gear? What is hashtag Death Stranding is Metal Gear?
What people believe, or at least reasonable people believe, is that there is going to be vague enough but legally distinct ties in a couple directally to go look
to say that
this is where PT
could have
gone. This is tangentially related to.
I wanted there to be a connection here. I'm fine with that.
Right?
Okay, that's fine.
Because I have a sneaking suspicion that there will be a PT-style dream sequence in this game.
I'm fine with that. I think that's too reasonable for the people making these.
You know what? You're probably right. That is probably too reasonable.
The people making these conspiracies legitimately think that Konami and Kojima are working together secretly behind the scenes.
Okay, well that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's bananas.
You just need to. It's like you need to stop. What doesn't need to stop?
Is Kojima listening to my high school music choices?
Oh, you heard about me?
What? Sorry?
You heard about me talking about that?
What are you talking about?
Come on, you must have heard about me talking about that.
No, what are you talking about?
Bro.
Because I used to listen to Apocalyptica when I was like 15.
The moment that trailer played, and I was like, why does this sound like me back in college? Why does this sound like I'm back in fucking Cégep right now?
Dude, I used to
I'm listening, and I'm like, what is this? This is like, I'm getting huge Apocalyptica vibes.
Because it's Apocalyptica!
And my fucking friend is like, yeah, that's the name. The song is Path by Apocalyptica. And I'm like, ah! And I just lost my shit.
Because it's like, wait, I used to listen to these guys back when all they used to do was orchestral Metallica covers.
And that's how they started, as a Metallica quartet. And after 2 albums of doing and crushing it, they went, yo, we can do our own music. And they're like, okay.
This is that great moment where you're like, Kojima likes the thing that I like.
I 100% got blasted back to 2002 with that fucking song, and as soon as I realized that's what was like, I was digging it, and the moment that happened, I'm like, oh fuck, what a choice! What an amazing choice! I love Apocalyptica. They have such a distinct sound.
Yeah, it's metal orchestra. I don't know.
Like, yeah, you exactly. So you're getting the very smooth violin. It's going,
as you and I have both talked on many occasions, we're huge violin marks.
Yep, with the grungy like distortion of the guitar. You know, it's fucking strong. And I never would have thought that's the type of music we'd be getting out of this.
No,
like,
of course not.
I was hard expecting soft piano ballads, right? I was expecting soft, sad piano.
If we got, in hindsight now, would have been like really disappointing. Because
I mean, it's fine if you show a bunch of soldiers walking through a fiery oil field that they ignited themselves.
You know what's the weirdest thing about Mads and all his Zombo soldiers? They look like they're from right now. They don't look like they're from the weird baby future.
Mm-hmm.
They look like soldiers that you would see right now.
Yeah.
Mads is dead.
Oh, probably.
Like, I think he's a ghost.
Probably. In fact, I think he represents... I wouldn't be surprised if Mads was maybe the first of the stranded dead that is, like, conscious and aware and interacting and not just in a state of...
Do you think we'll be playing as Mads?
No.
Okay.
But I think Mads will pursue the fuck out of you on the open world.
Cool.
Yeah.
The Mads everywhere system?
The soldiers, yeah, absolutely. Also, yeah, and it's unclear as to whether or not the soldiers, like, coming along... Like, is it one of those things where it's like anyone you kill might then become a problem for you if you return to that area?
Like, the implication that I'm looking at this and the tone and the rain and all that, I'm like, I feel like this is the Sorrow turned into a game.
Yeah, I could see that. Again, going back to that, the most what the fuck trailer of all of the what the fuck trailers.
Yeah, as the guy stabbing himself.
The guy stabbing himself as he floats up into the air.
And then he explodes, and then later on in 2 trailers, that situation is described as a void out.
And the invisible god looking down upon them.
It implies that death causes you to violently explode like a nuke or some shit. Like, it's all sorts of weird shit.
I will say there's one part about this trailer that there's an aspect about this trailer that kind of like took something away, and it is when I was watching that original trailer and the footsteps and like the panic of like what the fuck are these things coming after us, right? It was so terrifying. Right? It was massively terrifying because you're like, you can't see it, you can't detect it. This baby and this flapping little is your best
and now
your
that
only
you see
shot.
that there's a pulse that you can see them.
And not only is there a pulse that you can see them, but it kind of looks like a bunch of undead guck sort of sticks in, and your feet get stuck, and they start yanking you down. And I'm like, that's not the threat I want that to be.
Did you see the Japanese version of the trailer?
With the extra footage. I saw
the extra
boss.
footage of a shark with infinite tentacle hands.
I did see that. What I find terrifying is Invisilickers.
Yeah.
Right? And the idea of Invisilickers creating footsteps, and then occasionally you get rocked and ripped.
Luckily enough, they will assuredly take the baby away from you at points during this game.
Yeah. I don't want the little flicker to just represent, oh, the goop is over there if it sees you. I don't want it to be that. That's not scary. That trailer put fear.
There's a possibility that they tried that and it was like untenable, like gameplay wise.
The power of the idea of you don't know what this is that's gonna fuck you up is so much stronger than just the goop. You know.
I agree.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, the Japanese trailer that
has like an extra minute.
It has an extra 35 seconds or so of gameplay.
It shows 2 cool shots. One is
a boss fight
with a giant. A snake, a shark bloodborne.
Some beast.
And a cool-ass shot of Troy Baker's gold mask on Amelie for some reason.
So, check that out.
I think Kojima has finally done it. He has talked about, like, the digital actor thing and wanting, like like proper actors and movie stars in his games and all that shit for ages and ages and ages. And remember when we always talked about Snake being played as Kiefer, and we'd call him Kiefer to denote that he's not Hater or whatever. We're not using these characters' fucking names.
Yeah, we're calling him Norman.
We're calling them
Mads.
Norman and Mads and Troy.
But that is Guillermo.
Right, and that is actually Guillermo del Toro.
Like that's intended, you know. Now the question I would like to find out is, what is the star power budget versus the actual game budget, and what's the ratio there?
I don't know, because it seems like everyone was like fucking chomping at the bit to be a part of it.
But what if it's 50-50?
Maybe.
Right? What if we're going towards that world?
You see that fucking dork ass photo of Kojima hanging out with Mads and Norman, where those two guys are looking grungy as fuck and smoking, and Kojima's pretending to smoke a cigarette for the photo.
It's yeah.
Oh my god, what a dork! He's such a fucking nerd.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can grab that extra footage for people that haven't seen it yet. But it was posted on the subreddit.
So while you do that, I would like to talk about language. So we have clearly hit a point where no one's around to tell Kojima that sounds stupid, because shut up. So you have a trailer that literally goes dead man, heart man, die hard man, and everyone cheers. Because that is some fucking 1980s Japanese boss video game
Blank
name
man.
Convention bullshit, and everyone's like clapping, yay. However, there is one part of the trailer that I'm like, someone should have probably walked up to Kojima and been like, you might want to change this because it sounds silly and hilarious and is causing the complete opposite reaction you're intending for every single person who speaks English as a first language. So first of all, happy Pride Month, everyone. And second of all, having the main enemy faction called the Homo Demons is like so absurd. It's so dumb. And I find it very difficult to take seriously. It is so stupid.
I might have missed that.
When they asked what the terrorist group is called.
Hold on a second. I might have not paid enough attention there. Sam is Norman Reedus. Cliff is Mads Mikkelsen.
It's the part where they have Fragile.
Fragile is Leia Sadu.
Yeah, no, it's
Mama,
not in this bit. It's in the bit where they're talking
man.
about the terrorists that
Heartman.
engineer void outs.
Die Hard
right
Man.
when Troy Baker shoots the lightning bolt into the sky.
Okay, they just talk about it. Amelie.
Yeah. And then the fucking closed captioning correctly labels it as the Homo Demons. And it's like, no one walked up to him and was like, dude, not a single
Yeah, you'd have to at least start the word sapien a little bit to throw it off the scent. You'd have to go like
that's obviously what it's supposed to be.
Yes,
right?
yeah. Or you'd have to go Demo sapiens.
It's
or
supposed
something.
to be the Latin equivalent of instead of Homo sapien.
Demo sapiens.
But
you'd have to, yeah.
It is literally just a character saying they're called the Homo Demons, and it's just like,
Yep.
I can't.
Yep.
I can't. I can't.
It's not too late.
I can't.
It's
It
not
is
too late.
so too late. It has never been too late. All the dialogue is done.
It's not too late for you to get used to it.
Oh my god.
Because it's happening. Get it out of your system now, says Reggie. Get used to the we. Say it. Get all of your jokes out.
I feel like...
Because you're going to be seeing the we everywhere.
I feel like Kojima is like my classmate in 9th grade. Holding up a fucking... homogenized carton of milk going homo milk.
So in Third Birthday, later in one of the later sessions, me and Min get into it at a point because we have a discussion about language in fiction.
Yeah.
And in particular, pseudoscience jargon, right?
Yeah.
And like part of the reason I could tell this game is so shit and like the way it's being written is terrible, and it's just also like through the lens of someone very, very like very Japanese.
Yeah.
Going into the science part of it is that the monsters in Parasite Eve, rather in Third Birthday, are labeled the Twisted.
Oh.
That's the name of them, right? And there's no further explanation so far as to what or why that's what they're called, except for they're the Twisted, right? And I'm trying to explain to...
There's a red flag right there.
It is, right? And so, and I'm trying to explain to him, because I'm like, so Min, you see that sucks, right? And he's like, I don't get why that's a problem. I thought it was a pretty cool name, right? And I'm like, okay, but here's the thing, right? You would maybe call them the Twisted if you lived in a world where you had no information.
Yeah.
For example, in The Walking Dead, they don't know what they're dealing with. They call them walkers.
Why do they do that?
Right?
They walk around.
If a big science lab comes down and officially decrees that these things are called walkers, that would be stupid.
Well, especially in Parasite Eve, because in Parasite Eve, one, they're mitochondrial whatever.
Neo-mitochondrial.
Well, that's two, right? That's the neo-mitochondrial
But NMCs.
Forces. Yeah.
Right?
And then in the first one, they're usually just called victims. Because they're people that burst.
So that's the thing, right? And I literally get into that, just part of the discussion, because it's like, there's a certain point where you go, look, the world here has established that someone smarter than me has assessed this problem in a lab, walked out and wrote a report, and decided this is what we're going with. And the fact that they wouldn't use scientific terminology or Latin jargon to define anything, and they would just literally arrive on the Twisted. And then from there, because that's the official name, you get into the Pentagon or the FBI creating like things like the CTI, which is the Counter Twisted Investigation Team. And like literally like official terminology working with the word Twisted, which is really just some dumb high school kid's edgy name for their monsters.
So it's funny that you mention that, because you go back to Death Stranding and they have a name for those things, and it's beached things.
BTs.
Yeah, and they abbreviate it to BTs, and just abbreviating it alone makes it sound better,
even slightly.
And beached things makes me think that that's the first name that got said on the news.
And nobody knows what the fuck it is.
And they are 0% understood.
Yes.
So that's what we're going with.
And that's as long as you can establish like that it's like what naming convention are we going with? Is it the farmer hick that stumbled upon the thing and went, or is it what the science lab man came down with and wrote up in the report, right? And they might even have separate names for each other. They're like, yeah, those big old science people call it the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
But I call it that thing I shoot.
And that's it, you know? And as long as you can work that out, that makes sense. But when you're trying to tell me that they're both the same...
Parasite Eve has it really bad because it already establishes that it's a world that uses... the threats are scientific.
Yes.
That the threats are biological.
So and that's exactly it. So I'm like, based on the fact that we're coming off of two games where they already went into science and used it properly.
Where like you look at Death Stranding and you're like, you know what? A beached thing as a name for this creature is fine because that's a magic ghost from hell. Right? Like I can easily believe that nobody knows what that is.
And at some point they might get more a couple years down the line when they maybe can figure out what the fuck's happening. But right now we're in this confusion zone of who the fuck knows.
So I want a couple things from this game, and there's one thing that I want that I might not get, but I don't care. And the game's story has already established a way to do this. I want this post-apocalyptic destruction of the United States to have been recent. Like a couple months.
Oh, it just happened?
Like it is like a year tops.
I'm gonna go with the idea that like the crazy levels of elevator and glowing blue tech that we have on everything and the bikes and the I think that implies a little bit longer than that.
No. I don't mean the story takes place 1 year from now.
No, whenever the disaster happens.
I mean that they had all their fancy bullshit.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
And then a year passed. And the reason I say that is because you've established that rainfall accelerates time by a factor of like 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So you can change the whole landscape of the United States as much as you fucking want. Right? You can disappear mountains. You can raise lake beds that shouldn't be there because you just say, "Oh, it rained there a lot," and now the time has changed.
How many building structures were in this trailer? Like
almost none.
There's 2 areas of surrounded metal and like abandoned factory looking sort of zones. Everything else is just completely
the only
covered.
locations in this trailer that show any sign of like usable livingness are the Oval Office, which, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I can assume that whatever they would do to protect the physical, like, structure of the White House would be whatever.
Yeah.
And an underground area.
Yeah. Maybe the idea of that whole recent tragedy thing and the tech of that world are connected to the point where we advanced our tech so far that we scraped up against the demons.
Sure, the Event Horizon.
And then now the hell is here.
I just realized there's a third standing structure in the trailer. It's a little batch of tents that the goons come out of in their truck. And I just love the idea that, okay, if it rains and the water hits you, time will advance 1,000, 10,000 times faster
whatever
than normal.
The fuck crazy.
So everyone is wrapped head to toe in fucking plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Because thank you, plastic.
You've
totally saved us.
Don't get wet.
Biodegrade my ass.
Don't get wet. Yeah.
Like, the only standing structures that could last for any length of time would be plastic structures.
President Cancer is really, really... That's something.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as BSG.
Oh, is it?
She even looks the same.
Oh, well, that's the first time I'm encountering
that.
In
fact, I have a sneaking suspicion it's the same actress.
Oh, okay.
She looks very similar.
That's brand new to me. Yeah, man. So
it's a bit on the nose as a metaphor.
Mm-hmm. America's dying.
Yeah. Like literally.
Of course. And Norman's attitude towards her being like, is kind of almost another like furthering of that idea.
Yeah, Norman's like, I just want to go back to Alaska and mush my sled dogs.
There you go. So there's that shot of the fucking soldiers coming out of the water, and then it's not water, it's fucking tar or gas or lighting it up, and
that's
then
a Metal Gear.
It's a super
shot.
Metal Gear moment, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can tell this trailer was directed by Kojima because the moment the credits pop up and then you hear another voice start talking, that's his signature in every single trailer.
Every single trailer. Somebody's going to come up at the end of the trailer and say some weird shit, and you're going to be like, huh?
Mm-hmm. I've recently, this is unrelated, but I've recently, I saw somewhere, there was a Reddit post about how it's like, sorry to ruin like half of fiction for you, but lit cigarettes don't ignite gas.
No, they don't.
And like this dude pours a bunch of gas.
The liquid puts it out instantly.
Yeah, he pours it all on a table and then like lights it up with a normal lighter and then puts a lit cigarette into it and it does nothing. And you go,
it fizzles out.
Fuck me.
The liquid part extinguishes the sparks instantly before that it can catch flame.
The flick cigarette for dramatic purposes is dead.
Yeah, but he gets around this. He gets around this because the cigarette fucking lights itself.
Yeah, he holds it up to the air, and
which
reality lights the
explains
smoke.
that, guess what? That's a magic cigarette.
That's true. That's true.
That's a magic ghost cigarette. Ghosts that smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. Smoke ghosts. I like it. And yeah, it's cool as fuck, and it's anime as fuck, and it's movies as fuck.
You know what that reminds me
But every
of?
time you see someone flick a cigarette in a movie and light up a big fire trail, recognize that that's a dumb now.
Reminds me of like 5-6 years ago when Dan Reichert, once again possibly the stupidest man in the world, was on the Giant Bombcast describing how much he loved Metal Gear and hated anime. To which everyone exclaimed, Metal Gear is the most anime shit that has ever existed. What are you talking about? He goes, no, it's got spies, and it's about military and the guns. It's like, yeah, and psychics and magic and evil clones. What do you?
Is All Systems Goku not about them discovering
Yes,
that they love
because
anime?
because that conversation, it was what led Dan down the path to go, oh wait, maybe I do like anime,
Right.
which then led down the path to All Systems Goku.
Right.
Seeing people mark out about Dragon Ball like 25 years after the fact, devoid of context, is fucking crazy.
Or Ava, for that matter.
Did that come out?
No,
Not yet, huh?
not yet.
Redubbed it too.
Can't wait. I would like to see. What I really want to see is if you could get a fucking, not even a commentary track, just an interview with Anno years later now to see what he thinks.
Yeah.
You know, to see where he's at this point in the midst of the reboot, by the way. Anyway, so yeah,
I'm looking forward to Death Stranding.
I am still looking forward to Death Stranding. I now feel a bit better about it. No, I feel a lot better about it. I feel really, really good about Apocalyptica and listening to them again.
Did you pre-order your game to get your gold skeleton bike?
I don't.
That shit's weird.
No, I'm good. But I want to see that E3 stage demo.
By the way, E3's next week. We should probably schedule our lives around that.
Okay. So
The podcast is going to be concurrent with the Microsoft show next week.
Okay. Well, so I want to see that live stage demo of him walking into the forest swamp.
Yeah.
And dealing with the problem in whatever way, and then getting a sense for all the different gameplay things, or he hangs from the tree, or he drops a ladder,
a tree frog,
or he swings a briefcase at a ghost, and the ghost gets hurt by the briefcase.
Yeah.
Because, like, whatever.
Because the briefcases can pass into the Death Stranding.
Yeah, and then just kind of show me that's what you do, and now you open world that, and I'll go, okay, fine, I guess.